Last night on the channel, we went over some bearish signals and some bearish divergences in which we did see that helped us anticipate the fall in ADA's price that we are seeing right now. Well, from here, what I want to talk about are what some of our price targets, what are some of the things that we can expect to happen, and what my anticipations and plans are over the next few hours, over the next few days of what we can expect to see from ADA. So with that being said, of course, if you do enjoy today's video or find it valuable or entertaining, you can let me know by smashing that like button and subscribing to the channel if you are new. But with that being said, of course, let's go ahead and let's get straight into the video. So of course last night we were looking at some bearish divergences from the price and the volume and the price and also the RSIs and our stock RSI. Basically everything was kind of pointing towards we would see a bit of a pullback, a bit of a cool down, and a bit of a correction to let some of our signals, indicators, and oscillators start to work more in tandem with each other. And so what we did see, of course, that was going to be right here whenever we did that live stream, and from there we have seen a bit of a good little drop, of course, showing we can see that it's been about, let's see, from last night, we're still down just about 4 to 5%, nothing too crazy, okay? And so with that being said, what we're going to take a look at now is what some of my options are, what we can expect to see, and how I'm going to react to it. Of course, I'm never going to try to tell you guys this is exactly what's going to happen, or this is exactly what's not going to happen, because I think that might give you some false sense of security, or, you know, it may give you this big overinflated idea that we're going to fall, or something like that, and may cause you to make some irrational decisions. So my whole plan here is to say, if this happens, I'm doing this. If this happens, I'm doing this. If this happens, I expect this. If this happens, I expect that. So whenever we see these moves, you know what to expect, okay? And so what we can see again is that we're starting to see a bit of a formation of a symmetrical triangle here as the price is starting to consolidate before making a breakout in either direction. So since this is a bit more of a 50-50, I would say, let's talk about both of our options here, what we can expect and where it goes from there once we do see the breakout here, because honestly, by the time that I make another video, likely we will have broken out of this, okay? So what we can expect to see is first, let's talk about downside potential, and then we'll talk about upside potential. So downside potential here currently is if we do break out the bottom leg of the symmetrical triangle here, I'm not expecting anything too terrible, okay? So there's a few different areas in which I'm looking for if that does happen. Well, one area that I'm going to be looking for is if we do go ahead and we take our Fibonacci retracement and we go just from our last swing low all the way up to our swing high, we can see that it does create, and it's going to be this swing low down here. There we go. We can see that it does create this box here. Now, this is going to be a very important area based off the history and the very recent things that we've been seeing from the market, okay? The 0.382 and the 0.5 has been very key recently in establishing these different uptrends. And so what I mean by that is if we do go ahead and we just get rid of this one for now, and let's take a look at this this big movement that we had here. Whenever we did see the price just absolutely spike up, we can see that no matter where you draw this swing low, whether you go swing low here or swing low there, both of these swing lows do result in a retracement back to our 382 to our 0.5. And our whole idea here is to establish some structure. And so if we can establish structure by falling into our 0.382 to 0.5, establishing support here and then continuing upward, of course, that would be fantastic. And that would be a very good sign to go to show that this is continuing to be a healthy movement. Now, say if we were to lose this level and we weren't able to maintain it, again, this level is going to be, let's see, it is going to be from $2.03, and the very bottom of it is going to be about $1.96, with the middle being $2, of course, as that's an inherent level of support, right? So we're looking to see some support get established in there. Now, say if support doesn't get established in there, there's two more levels that I'm looking for to make sure we hold support. As long as we hold one of these two, I'm really not all that concerned, okay? So the next one's going to be $1.88. This is going to be a very important level. So if I do go ahead and kind of zoom out to the 4-hourly at this point, we can see why it's so important. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a Fibonacci retracement from our all-time high all the way down to our swing low here, that low that we put in right there. And you can see that this $1.88 is going to be sitting right on that 0.618. Now, the reason that this is going to be so important is that we were able to break out the upside. We were able to break out our 0.786, which means that we escaped our retracement zone, okay? But one thing we don't want to see happen is that even though we escaped our retracement zone and we were able to close out of it a few times, if we do start to work our way back down and lose it, that does start to make it even harder to continue to see that we do execute on that reversal, right? And so we just want to make sure that if we do start to fall, that we can maybe just establish some support within this retracement zone, because if we fall below it, it does serve as such strong resistance that we may start to see a little bit of a harder effort to get back up to these levels in which we did see. So that's going to be number two. That's going to be at $1.88. I will go ahead and price label that for you there. Now, the very last level of support that I'm going to be looking for us to hold, again, is going to be our daily 20 EMA. So this is going to be a very important level, and I'll show you why it's been so important, okay? And so what we can see here is that we are super extended off of our EMAs. At the moment, our 20 EMA is sitting very low below this. I mean, the 20 EMA is still sitting at about $1.63. And again, if we were to fall all the way back down there, I would still be very okay with that. Now, the reason I'd be so okay with that is if we do go look in the past, we can see how much we interact with this EMA, the 20 and the 50 specifically, as we're seeing these big climbs. So we go up, we get really extended off the 20 EMA, we come back down, we touch it, we go up, we touch it, we go up, we come back down, test it, test it, test it, get down to the 20, down to the 100, back up, back to the 50. So you can see we interact with these EMAs quite often, especially in a healthy uptrend like we did see there. And so I wouldn't be mad whatsoever that if we were to lose both of those important levels we talked about, which of course was going to be the 0.5 that we talked about earlier, or if we lost the 0.618 on our long-term all-time high to swing low, if we lost both those levels and we did find some support on one of our EMAs, our 20 or our 50 optimally, I would still be very happy, and that would honestly be a great buying opportunity for myself. Not saying it would be the perfect opportunity, because there is of course still the potential that we would crash below it, but more in the thought process that it's justifiable. And so even if we were to crash through those EMAs and I bought maybe at here and at here, I could still be okay with those purchases because they were justified buying opportunities based off past historical data. Okay, and so those are the 3/4 different levels I'm looking for. So again, on your 20 to 50 EMA, that's going to be about our lowest ones right now. I'd love to see we can hold that, because that'll continue to allow these EMAs to work their ways up, and we're not going to see any, death crosses or anything like that. But of course, optimally before that, I would like to see us be able to stay within our retracement zone, as we won't start to establish any high levels of resistance above ourselves if we do so. And then lastly, I would like to see, just on the short term, if we would like to see this thing continue pretty quickly, that we can go ahead and just simply establish some support right at our 0.5, and I'll give you guys that level one more time. And that was going to be, there we go. And our 0.5 is just going to simply be, let's go this one. Our 0.5 at the moment is going to be off of, this little zone is going to be off of $2.03 to $1.96, with again that middle ground being $2. So those are my few different support levels I'm looking at. If we do break out of this this symmetrical triangle, I think it's highly likely that we for sure go down to test that 382, and then from there just keep an eye on it, see if we can establish some support. Now if we do start to break up, that would be absolutely phenomenal, right? We would love to see that happen. If we were able to break out of this symmetrical triangle in which we're seeing here, of course that does give us the ground to start to retrace and retest some of those important resistance levels. So what I would then do is take our swing high, and I would just go swing high down to swing low. And as I do that, I will start to pay close attention to this level here. Now let's actually move this down just a tad. There we go. Okay, so this box right here is going to be crucial, because of course this does dictate whether we're going to see something like this, a retracement, or it dictates whether we're going to see a reversal. Okay, usually whenever we can clear this zone, it's a good sign that we're going to put in a new all-time high. And so with that being said, if we do break out, let's get that off the chart, there we go. If we do break out to the upside, one thing I'd like to see is that if we can work our way back in here, maybe establish some support, but eventually clear this level right here, which is going to be $2.20. I do believe that that does give us ground to go work our way up and set that new all-time high. So my personal breakout target, if we are able to clear $2.20, I'm simply just going to look at from the swing high to the swing low what our extension level is going to be. And again, our extension level from there, our Fibonacci extension level, is going to be our 1.618, which in my opinion, I think if we are able to execute on this swing high to this swing low, this 1.618 extension does put us at $2.37 right there. And that's my breakout target. I do honestly believe if we see something like this happen, that that's our next one. So do pay close attention to that. I think that either one of these is just as likely to happen. I do believe a bigger correction is a little bit, I would say actually that a bigger correction is a little bit more possible, as we have been starting to just see such a big extension off of our EMAs. But when that pullback is going to come, you can never really know, and it's more about just focusing on when you can expect to see these movements, and when we do see breakouts in either direction, where we can expect it to go, of course. But in terms of longevity and just the long-term perspective of this thing, I'm still incredibly bullish. One reason that I talked about last night especially, and I talked about it in the Patreon, of course, if you do want access to the Patreon, the link's in the description. I go over my trades, technical analysis, and much more. But one thing that I am still looking at very closely is just going to be our MACD MACD for ADA, we can see here that as we're still approaching, smart contract season on September 12th, and all of those great things coming up, we're still not even in bullish territory yet. We haven't seen this blue and orange cross, and we've also not seen that our bars have started to become green, of course, which means we're in bullish territory, as we can see back here. And so that just goes to show basically that we still have a lot of potential in the long term. There's still a lot of upward movement that could still be available, and I definitely think that we have the momentum still to start to set some of those higher highs. Again, you guys do know that my personal expectation is that we're going to see $3.40. If I do go here, my personal breakout target right now, if we are able to clear our previous all-time high, is $3.40. I'm still pretty set on that, and so all we got to do is continue upward and continue this momentum and establish some of those levels of support. Again, right now, if we do see a pullback, it's totally okay. It's totally okay. You got to understand that as we've seen these movements upwards, we are starting to clear resistance, and now all of those resistance levels that we broke through, they're support and support and support and support. And so as we're working our way up, we're building up a great foundation right now. And so if we see a pullback, it's totally okay. We just got to watch where does it go and how do we react to it. And of course, I will keep you guys as up to date as possible. So pay close attention to these levels, see what happens within that symmetrical triangle, and then you can kind of anticipate where there might be a good buying or take profit opportunity based off that. I hope you guys did enjoy today's video. I tried to make it a little bit shorter, a little bit more compact, but as much, information packed as I possibly could. If that is your style, if it is something you like, definitely let me know by smashing that like button and subscribing to the channel again if you are new, and I will see you all later with another update. Peace.